Good evening. Drivers describe the deadly crash that left more than 100 cars and trucks piled up in the fog on Highway 99. And welcome to a special edition of Action News. I'm Warren Armstrong. From the air, Chopper 30 shows the massive car and truck pileup on Highway 99 stretched across the northbound lanes on the highway near American Avenue. More than 100 cars and 18 big rigs were involved in the crash south of Fresno. It happened this morning around 7:45. We have live team coverage on the crash, beginning with Action News anchor Maureen Naylor. She's live at the crash scene with what's happening right now and breaking news on the investigation. Maureen.
Well, Warren, the breaking news we just learned is that a 62-year-old man has been arrested for drunk driving, believed possibly to have started this entire thing. 99 northbound lanes are still shut down at this hour. They've been closed since about 8 a.m. this morning when the accident happened. Behind me, we're at the tail end of the accident. The skid marks start about here, and you can see there's just tons of tow trucks and Caltrans workers, CHP, big rigs, with more than 100 vehicles involved, as you said, 18 big rigs, and what Caltrans is calling the largest fog-related crash it's ever seen. A massive mess of mangled metal stretched for a mile along northbound Highway 99 just south of Fresno, leaving cars smashed under big rigs, several people dead, and more than 3 dozen injured.
I think in this particular incident, given the magnitude and the number of vehicles involved, I'm thankful that it's not worse, but at the same time, nobody can say that it's acceptable to lose 2 lives and have 39 people in the hospital.
The CHP believes fog and speed are likely to blame for this 100-vehicle pileup, saying visibility just before 8 a.m. dropped to 200 feet.
Conditions were very foggy, getting worse as we were northbound.
Drivers like Tom Jackson and his wife found themselves in the middle of it all.
I could hear the noise, and I could see to my left, which is the middle lane, I could see people plowing into each other.
His wife credits the cross she was wearing for keeping them safe. Buses were brought in to transport dozens of victims left stranded on a crucial stretch of northbound Highway 99 that had traffic backed up for miles.
The investigation takes priority, so as that investigation occurs and clears the scene, we're trying to work with the hazardous waste that may be out there, which is usually fuel from vehicles, clean that up such that we can open up the freeway in a very timely fashion.
Here's a different vantage point for you. This is where traffic is being diverted onto Golden State. 99 is still closed from Chestnut to Clovis, and you can see the traffic is coming off of there. The northbound lanes are still closed at this hour. We're told only about a half a mile traffic's backed up if you're coming northbound on 99, but we just got an update, and they're expecting it to be about midnight when it will reopen. As for the victims, we are told that there are 3. CHP has confirmed that there is a 28-year-old man and a young boy who were involved in the crash, and Action News has also learned the 3rd victim is an infant. As for that arrest we told you about, a 62-year-old man from San Antonio, Texas, has been arrested for drunk driving. The CHP just told us they believe he was towards the front of this crash, possibly one of the first collisions that happened that could have set this all off. As for if you're driving in this area, expect a delay. The CHP does say that Golden State, the old State Route 99, the lights have been changed there to be all green, so they're really trying to move traffic forward if you're heading northbound. Reporting live south of Fresno, Maureen Naylor, ABC 30 Action News.
Thank you, Maureen. Now, as you heard her say, northbound Highway 99 is expected to be closed until midnight tonight. The Highway Patrol is rerouting traffic off the highway at the Clovis Avenue exit. Now, from there, traffic is moving on to northbound Golden State, then on to westbound Central Avenue, and back on to northbound Highway 99. Our team coverage continues now with Action News reporter Gene Hagenson live near the pileup. He spoke with some of the drivers caught in the middle of this crash. Gene?
That's right, Warren. We're about halfway through this massive mess of cars. There's a story here in every truck and every car you see here, some of them tragic. Man in the pickup truck there seriously hurt. Person in that silver car in front of him, one of the victims who were killed. Many of those who survived are traumatized by all the death and destruction they saw.
They just came out of the blue. I mean, we stopped. All of a sudden the cars were there. And they stopped, and they just kept hitting us,
Sherry Bamford was in her Suburban with her husband Todd and 3-year-old son Troy. The Kingsburg family all got out safely, but others around them weren't so lucky.
The little kid next to me didn't make it from what I had heard. I didn't even know there was a kid in that car. Hi. They were pulling little babies out with blood dripping. It's cold. It was bad.
Ed Buckley and his wife left Orange County early this morning heading for Chowchilla. They weren't hurt, but Ed was among several who tried to save a badly injured man who died.
We tried to get him out before the paramedics showed up, and worked for about 10 minutes or so, and he was conscious. And then just about the time the paramedics showed up with the jaws of life, he stopped breathing. And it's kind of an odd situation to have somebody conscious that you're communicating with, a little bit anyway, and to kind of calm him down. He was a little upset, and and obviously everybody was frightened because they realized he was in a bad situation. And we worked really hard. We had pickaxes and shovels. We were trying to pry the door open, but it was impossible. We just couldn't do it. And it's unfortunate he didn't make it, but a number of us stopped and prayed for him, and that's all you can do.
As we said, there are lots of tragic stories. There are also a lot of miraculous stories. On the other side of the truck, you can't see, there are a couple of cars that are just smashed against the guardrail. You'd think nobody would have survived, but in both instances there, the people got out with relatively minor injuries. Reporting live from Highway 99, south of Fresno, Gene Higginson, ABC 30 Action News.
Thank you, Gene. More team coverage now with Action News reporter John Thomas Cobos, who's live in downtown Fresno with the drivers and passengers who were able to escape from the accident. John Thomas.
Warren, 10 people who were the most seriously injured came here to Community Regional Medical Center. 12 others were sent to St. Agnes, and 6 were sent to Clovis Community Hospital. We had a chance to talk with 2 patients here who say this accident was surreal. Steve Caldron was driving from Kingsburg when he got caught in Saturday morning's 100-car pileup.
Just thinking, Lord, let it not be my time.
Caldron says it was hard to see through the dense patches of fog covering Highway 99. He noticed a big rig was at a complete stop, but by then it was too late.
Because once I hit the truck and then they hit me, it was just bang, bang, bang. All you could hear was just people hitting from farther back.
Caldron was one of 4 critical patients. He's been upgraded to fair condition.
I said I was very, very fortunate. God smiled down upon me.
Dr. Kenny Bond says most of the injuries were blunt force trauma.
A lot of them have some crush injuries. We had someone with a crush injury to the leg and had a lot of fractures in their legs. The other person had some back injuries as well.
Lee Darling was on his way to work when he saw cars stopping in front of him. Darling pulled over to be safe and thought he was in the clear.
They just came flying, and they just pounded into us several times, 5 or 6 hits at least.
Darling suffered a bump on the head, but managed to get out of his car through the only door that would open, the driver's side.
And we were looking around trying to, see if maybe we could help anybody, and it's kind of a helpless situation.
Darlene's waiting for a CAT scan and should be released later on tonight. As for Steve Caldron, he faces surgery tomorrow. Doctors say he needs several pins in his leg and hip. For now, live at Community Regional Medical Center, John Thomas Cobos, ABC 30 Action News.
The CHP says a combination of speed and fog is to blame for today's pileup on 99. Ashley Tate is in the Storm Warn 30 Center now with more about the conditions when the trucks and cars started crashing. Ashley?
Well, Warren, the low-level clouds and the fog hung over the valley in the early morning hours, and just after 7 a.m., they dropped and moved in fast to the valley. Now, fog is basically just a cloud that forms at the surface, and it forms when the dew point matches the temperature, and that's exactly what we saw this morning. Let me show you. Around the time of the accident, the National Weather Service says that we had fog and misty-like conditions. The temperature was at 50 degrees with the dew point at 47, and our humidity was at 89%. So the air was heavily saturated. Now, there were areas of patchy, dense fog. Some areas, the visibility was only down to about 2 miles. In other areas, visibility was down to just a couple hundred feet. And that is what we saw this morning. These conditions will continue as we head into tomorrow, with the patchy, dense fog beginning to form just after midnight tonight and lingering through the morning. At 7 a.m. tomorrow morning with that patchy fog, we'll be at 51 degrees. We'll have more on the foggy conditions for tomorrow in your AccuWeather forecast. And I'll also talk about Knoll and the problems that it brought to the East Coast today and into tomorrow. Warren?
All right, Ashley, thanks very much.